mnie Sezamek, jestem tu by robić zamek. Przez godzinę raz w tygodniu dam ci wstęp do mych zajawek. Co odcinek mam tu gościa, a tematów nigdy brak. Słucha tego cała Polska oraz duży żółty ptak. Dzień dobry i dobry wieczór wszystkim, a może powinienem powiedzieć welcome to the Doggy Dog Party. Tutaj
Godzina Sezamkowa.
Tak, kochani, gęba mi się śmieje sama. Ważne rzeczy się wydarzyły w historii tej audycji i jestem z tego cholernie dumny. Muszę bardzo serdecznie podziękować Marcinowi Przeplasko, czyli popularnemu Plash One. To on umożliwił mi spotkanie na backstage'u Root Boy klubu w Bielsku Białej z Johnem Connorem. Powiedział też Johnowi, że przyjdzie Zajawkowicz, Kumaty i John. Nie pożałujesz tej rozmowy? No i muszę wam powiedzieć, że nie pożałował. Ucięliśmy sobie bardzo miłą pogawędkę. Ja na początku byłem takim nerwusem trochę. Stresik mnie zżerał, ale to była ultra przyjemna rozmowa. Bardzo miłe spotkanie. Tam w ogóle u tych chłopaków, u tych facetów nie ma żadnych oznak gwiazdorstwa, żadnej sodówy. Przemili, sympatyczni ludzie. No i wróciłem do domu z tą MP3, którą następnie podzieliłem na 3 części, które będę wam prezentował dzisiaj razem z muzyczką, nie tylko Doggy Dog, bo różne rzeczy powiązane także dzisiaj będą. No i przed nami część pierwsza. Część pierwsza jest związana jak najbardziej z nową płytą, Free Radicals. Zaczyna się od mojego pytania, dlaczego musieliśmy czekać aż 17 lat na tą nową płytę? Why we need to wait 70 years for a new album? I oto co powiedział John.
It's not a simple answer. You know, our band had many ups and downs with the record business, and we didn't really want to be part of making records and sign contracts and managers. We'd rather just have control of our band our own way. Mm-hmm. The band was operating as a part-time thing for 20 years, so it wasn't important to make records unless you want to be part of the music business, and we clearly didn't for a long time.
Understood. But what happened?
What happened?
What happened?
A few things happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the band had, from like the 2010s up until the late teens, had really begun to somehow grow again. You know, we were...
By popularity, you mean?
Yeah, like popularity. Maybe it was social media or streaming or people discovering things like the Dynamo Open Air video, for instance. Yeah. But the band was growing, and at the same time, in 2015, we were celebrating our 25th anniversary. And we decided, after a long time with no music, it was a good time to try and create something. Mm-hmm. And it also coincided with Roger Hammerly being elevated from a touring musician, a paid musician, into a full-time band member. And one of the things that he wanted to do was to try and create some new music if we were gonna bring him into the band. He just didn't want to play old songs.
So this man has its own impact, yes? Has his impact of this?
A huge impact on the record and the creation of it and the inspiration. I mean, he brought us to the producer that we used for the EP and Free Radicals, and contributed an immense amount of musical ideas and directions. So it was a breath of fresh air to have a new writing partner in the band, and I think his versatility complements my vision for a diverse sound and not just one or two things, and he's able to play a lot of different things. So when you have flexibility like that, you can enjoy great creativity.
Okay. There are a lot of classic tunes for Doggy Dog on this LP, like Lit Up, Keen, Never Give In. Mm-hmm. It's like 100% Doggy Dog vibe.
Yeah.
But there are moments which are unexpected, like, for example, Bar Down,
sure,
or Zamboni.
Right.
What's the story behind these 2 tracks, which are absolutely from another world for me?
Well, yeah, a song like One Thing is different too, but I feel that like you said, a song like Lit Up, a song like Never Give In, they came in the first waves of writing. So I think we already knew that we had some quote unquote typical doggy dog sounding songs. We had things that were going to satisfy some of our fans that stuck with us. But it was also very important to try some different things, not only stylistically, but for me, most importantly, was tempo. That I wanted to have a record with some slower songs on it as well, because...
Do you feel comfortable with rapping?
No, not at all. It has nothing to do with rapping. It has more to do with translating it to the live show. And if we're in a position where we headline a festival or we get a chance to play 90 minutes in a club, I think it's impossible to play, you know, at 150 or even 100 beats per minute for an hour and a half. Everybody has had enough of that. So if we're going to be the band that I know we can be, we have to have a diversity in our tempos and sound, and also when we play a live concert, I want to make sure that people go on a journey with us, and it's not a sprint. It's about taking a walk or a ride with the band. And I think now we have, with 5 albums and lots of different video songs and lots of different tempos and energies, I think we can create a perfect festival set. Now, I'm happy that was a vision that I had maybe 8 years ago, that I said we could do this, but we can do it even better if we have some slower songs.
You've got a new set list every evening?
Yes and no. We have songs like that must have, you know, Rocky, Who's the King, No Fronts. And now with the new album, we have 4 or 5 songs that have videos and have been singles. So we want to promote those songs and let people hear them, and we think those songs work great with the live show. So we're changing little things here and there. There might be a week where we play the same set list, but in general, the set times change, especially for festivals and things like that. It could be 60 minutes, it could be 45, it could be 80 minutes.
They are ready for everything.
So they're always changing.
Okay.
And yeah, in between the songs, I like to play some beats to keep some energy in the house, and
some classic hip hop stuff.
Those tracks I'm also trying to change every night, so it keeps everybody on their toes, the band and the crowd, and it keeps us interested. You know, you can't do the same thing the same way over and over again in a creative space. You have to try and keep it fresh in some way.
How crowd react to the new tracks?
Really well.
Very well.
Yeah. People already, last summer, were hearing Never Give In. That was the first new song that we were playing even in 2022. And from then on, especially this summer, we did festivals and metal festivals, hardcore festivals, and we're playing Bar Down every night, and people are reacting good to it. People are reacting to Lit Up, of course. That's the opener for the album, and it's the opener tonight for the show. So it's nice. It's cool. Like we were laughing because before this tour started, the last show we played was in Romania, and we were all the way in the middle of nowhere, Romania, and the cool thing was, it was like all young people at the festival. So they don't know anything about Who's the King or No Fronts, even Expect the Unexpected or something. So everything was new to them, and they got more excited by some of the new songs than some of our classic hits. So it was interesting to see young people just taking our music at face value, and it was interesting to see that they chose the newer tracks and reacted very nicely to that. So that's encouraging.
I have an impression that the new record made you younger, a little bit.
I don't know. We're not trying to be younger, you know.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it brought young John Connor once again.
No, what it did was it inspired and it energized us. You know, when you're playing No Fronts and Who's the King, we love that. We love the way people react to it. But I've been doing it for 30 years. and it's natural to become a little bit mechanical, and it's always nice because when you play a song that your crowd knows and loves, they bring the energy into it. Sometimes I don't need to fabricate energy. It's already there in the room, and let the people enjoy the moment. Yeah,
and it's not fake.
So with the new songs, all of a sudden, you know, we're thinking about the changes, about the tempo. You know, is it fast? Is it slow? Is it just right? I have to concentrate much more on the vocals because I haven't been saying the same words for years and years and years. There's some songs, like last night we played Time Won't Wait. It was the first time we played it. And, you know, it's new for me. The song's different, delivery, so it keeps us on our toes, and I think it
more
brings
focused?
a lot of energy. Yeah, maybe more focused. And it's interesting to see on this tour, now that we're here and the album's here and everything, people are dancing a little less at the Doggy Dog shows, but they're like really listening and, you know, clapping and appreciating. Like, nobody said to me like, oh yeah, I needed to hear more Oberu Kings, or I wanted to hear this. Nobody's saying that. Everybody that says to me, anybody, anywhere, what I heard fans tell the guys was like, hey, really cool show, nice energy, what you guys are doing is special, and like, keep going, so.
Okay. No i tak, kochani, jesteśmy po pierwszej części rozmowy z Johnem oraz po dwóch piosenkach. Przed chwilą wybrzmiał kawałek Never Give In, a całą naszą audycję zaczęliśmy piosenką Lead Up. Zapomniałem powiedzieć takich formalności dopełnić, tak powiem. No i możemy teraz przejść do drugiej części rozmowy z Johnem. Ona zaczyna się od mojego pytania, czy idea, tytuł Free Radicals jest naturalną kontynuacją No Fronts, czy po prostu pewne rzeczy się nie zmieniają. I w ten sposób dojdziemy do Pleszłana, który cały czas sobie tam siedzi z boku na tym backstage'u i się podśmiechuje i czasem coś tam dołoży. Trochę będziemy go słyszeć. I dużo też w tej części będzie o przyjaźni wieloletniej z Biohazard. I tą część skończymy piosenką zespołu Terrify, na której John Connor udziela się gościnnie i tym samym takie będzie symboliczne połączenie właśnie wątku pleszowego razem z Johnem Connorem. Także przypomnę, is the idea behind the Free Radicals the same idea behind the No Fronts? Some things never changed?
Well, everything changes, so I would never say that, but what didn't change was like our positivity, you know, and our joy and our energy. So what changed was, you know, we got 30 years older over the course of this band, and you know, 20-year-old John Connor is not the same as 50-year-old John Connor, and we shouldn't be the same person anyway. The version of this band changes every night. You know, when we get on stage, this is Free Radicals, whatever, 2.3, and yesterday was 2.2. So we have an opportunity to be better and get better every day. I think the album, when the songs were coming together and we were discussing, you know, Doggy Dog is a democratic process, so we talk about our ideas. We want people in, you know, other band members to share what they think, they feel. We take a vote on something, but I proposed the name Free Radicals, and I didn't really understand what it means, and it's more important for everyone to get their own feeling from it.
Okay.
But I think what it did was it helped to explain 14 songs that are pretty different from each other and diverse, and yeah, it's just, you always want to have people talking, you know,
Okay.
or trying to figure out what are you thinking of or whatever. I mean, Kurt Cobain was like the master of this, like saying really cool things but saying nothing, or everything's coded in weird ways.
Yes.
And you know, with our lyrics, I just don't, you know, I'm more direct, but with some of our ideas and concepts, you can leave open for interpretation.
Yeah, I think you took it from the hip hop to be straight and to be correct, and
I mean, the hardcore world is very direct and straight, and say what you mean.
like Flash one
Yeah,
here.
yeah, sure. Like So those are big influences. Hip hop and hardcore are definitely a part of Dog's DNA. So.
Okay. Speaking about the Flash One, I know about his big contribution into the new LP, and I saw the video for the Keep the Flame track by Terrify with your guest appearance.
Yeah.
What's the story behind your co-working guys?
Well, we're becoming friends over time. You know, he likes and appreciates the band, and we're a band that's very close with our fans. So if you reach out on Instagram or Facebook or something, there's a pretty good chance that Dave or myself or Roger or somebody's going to answer you directly. So we kind of became friendly, and Plash was DJing the show in Krakow. He was spinning in between bands, and you know, he did, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes before Doggy Dog went on, and we were all like, yo, this is great music, great feeling, great execution. His skills were top notch. So we made a connection there. And even funny, he was wearing a Doggy Dog shirt, and you were in a bar in Krakow, and my cousin's daughter came in there from Ireland. She was just visiting Krakow and seeing something, and she's like, Doggy Dog, oh, it's my cousin's band. And he's like, yeah, I know John. So connections are formed, you know, over years and over time, and things like that happen organically. You know, he asked me, hey, would you help me out with a song? I'm launching a hardcore band, and he had to wait like 9 months for me to deliver this fucking track because you know, with COVID, lockdown, and I had no way to record at home, so I had to find a studio, and then I went to Ireland for almost 2 months, and he was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I finally recorded it. And then when we were making Free Radicals along the way, you know, at first you're not thinking of like DJ scratches and keyboards and things. You're thinking about meat and potatoes. What's the drums like? What are the guitar parts? What are the vocals? But once these songs started getting mixed and we could hear opportunities for some scratches or some horns or keyboards, whatever it is, then I knew that he was the guy that I wanted to call, because he understands the band. And you know, I had to give him a specific mission where he can only scratch things that nobody owns or that we own. So he took some live tracks from a Doggy Dog album that our sound man had mixed for us, and yeah, he's using some scratches from Allboro Kings Live that he incorporated. So I didn't have to tell him what to do. You know, I knew that he would feel it and understand it, and pretty much it's like 95% what he did. Maybe we took a little something out, but we didn't have to say go back and do it again or anything. It was like, even last night he DJ'd with us during the songs, in between the songs, and you know, I didn't say like, hey, you must do this or that. I just said have fun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, have fun. We had a great time. So like, he's not going to, you know, he's not going to fuck up. And for me, like, he can't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Because his instinct is like my instinct. You know, his feelings like my feeling, and the other guys. So I knew, like, I wasn't worried about it. Like, Dave said to me, hey, like, does he know what to do, and tell him what songs? I said, let me handle this. Like, we speak in this language together. You don't tell me what to do in between songs with the beats, so don't tell me what to do now. My guys got this covered. So
okay, John, but don't you think it's quite ironic that you became from the East Coast, like the place where the hip hop started, and you pick up the DJ from Eastern Europe, from Poland, and you chose him, and you were, as you said before, you were 100% he gonna do it right and to the proper way. I think it's kind of ironic how the music history made circles, and this whole thing became one big jar of good music for me.
Well, that's what we started with in the 90s. You know, I think that's why people recognized us as something different, because there were some great bands out there. You're wearing a Biohazard hat and shirt.
It's from the Krakow.
Yeah. So, you know, we love Biohazard. They mix metal and rock and hip hop as well. But we also have a totally different dynamic. You know, we're not from Brooklyn. We're not trying to show people the hard side of life. We bring our own unique energy, our own unique sound into it. And we were inspired by bands like Urban Dance Squad that were able to
Mix everything.
You know, we didn't have the skills to do it as good as they did. That's why we didn't copy them, but we took the inspiration to do and mix everything.
So you make everything simpler?
Maybe, yeah. For sure.
And that was a brilliant idea.
I mean, when you want to make music to reach people, it's a good idea to keep it simple. You know, the concept simple, the structure simple. You know, it's not about trying to show people that we're better at whatever, drums or guitar or singing or something. Like, we're all trying to serve the music. We're all trying to give the song the best possible chance for it to make people feel something. And that's it.
Okay. The shows with Biohazard was something special for you? Because I've got this Dynamo 95 vibe.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but this was like, you know, the holy grail of
You're
festivals.
the only person I've ever met that hasn't been there.
I was on Doggy Dog show, and you said something like this. You would be very, very, very rich guy if you got $5 from every person who told you he or she was there in '95 in Dynamo.
Yes, only €2 coin for each one of us. Very rich. Not even five.
So I must admit I wasn't there, but it was for me like a teenager the holy grail. I always wanted to be there with Machine Head, with Doggy Dog, with Biohazard, with Fear Factory. Oh my God.
Yeah. So Dynamo, of course, was a special moment for a lot of bands and a lot of people, but the Biohazard connection runs a lot deeper because we were friends with them back before they were signed. There was Mucky Pup and Biohazard together, and Billy from Biohazard passed our demo tape to
Germany.
Yeah, and that helped.
Sick.
That helped get us signed. And then when All Borough Kings was released, we were on tour for 40 shows with Biohazard and Downset all around Europe. And now, you know, we get to do something like that with Kings Never Die. You know, Dan Nastasi was in Doggy Dog, and he got married, and we went on tour and released All Borough Kings, and he stayed home. So here we are, 30 years later, on tour together. He has a new band, his own band. Danny Biohazard played the drums on the record, so there's a lot of synergy, and you know, you can't put Doggy Dog and Biohazard on the same club in the same room and not get some sort of brotherhood, some chemistry. You know, everything's changed, everything's different now, but there's some of the same feeling. And you know, one of the things that I was thinking about was like Sean.
Okay, it's like this song, Down for Life. We are brothers of blood, we share the knife, and now we see who's down for life.
I think like Sean would have liked that the most.
Okay.
You know, the reunion with Biohazard.
It was beautiful.
He was always like the guy who, like, whenever we were on tour, he'd be in love with whatever band. Sometimes it was the opening band or whatever. He wouldn't even hang out with us. He wanted to be. So when we were with Biohazard, it was like Sean wasn't even Doggy Dog. Like Biohazard hat, Biohazard jacket. You know, he was only in Doggy Dog for 1 hour on stage, and then he was in Biohazard.
Beautiful.
So he really, you know, like I was saying, we had a nice chance to reconnect with those guys. Like Danny, I would see all the time because we play shows with Kings Never Die, but I didn't see Evan for 15 years. You know, I didn't see Billy or Bobby much in the last 20 years. So when you see these people and you spent so much time with them, you can't help but getting back into old feelings and good vibes.
No i tak pięknie brzmi piosenka Terrify, Keep the Flame z gościnnym udziałem Johna Connora, mojego rozmówcy z czwartku, którego dzisiaj słuchamy sobie i w roli mojego konwersatora, jak i w roli wokalisty. Trochę o Pleszu. Plesz znakomicie się odnalazł na scenie z Doggy Dog. Rozpoczynał już takim intrem złożonym z różnych klasyków Beastie Boys, Illusion Wojtek i tak dalej. Jakby kurczę, to było super i to jak on to miksuje, to jest rewelacja. No i na scenie też jakby to jest urodzony członek zespołu Doggy Dog, Biohazard i co tam jeszcze innego, on by się tam wszędzie wpasował. Człowiek zajawa, człowiek muza. Wielkie pozdro, też wiem, że w Lublinie spotkał słuchaczy Godziny Sezamkowej i bardzo był z tego zadowolony, że wśród moich słuchaczy też się zrekrutowali fani Terrify, bo dla Plesza to bardzo ważny zespół. Odsyłam do kilku odcinków w przeszłość, żeśmy sobie fajnie z Marcinem godzinę pogadali. Dobrze, kochani, czas na trzecią część rozmowy z Johnem. Ona będzie najbardziej historyczna, trzecia i ostatnia. Zaczyna się od tego, że go zapytałem, skąd się wziął ten fenomen, że są tak dużo bardziej popularni w Europie niż u siebie w domu, niż w Ameryce. Czyli why you are so much more popular in Europe than in USA?
Well, I have a perspective now. Years later, you have a chance to look back on things, and we always knew that Roadrunner was based in Europe. They had a much larger presence at that time, especially in Europe, than in America. So it was a combination of the label having better connections and doing better promotion in Europe. The band was in Europe with Biohazard, and all of a sudden MTV's there, and they film Biohazard, and who else is here? Yeah, we want to talk to Doggy Dog. We want to film you guys, and little things like that. Getting on European MTV put us all over Europe, even in places where we never played. Mm-hmm. So we were in somebody's house before they even saw us in their club, and then you go from being an underground band to being a mainstream band, and once you hit the mainstream, you're everywhere.
You made it in one season.
1.5.
Okay, but it's quite short.
Yeah. It was a meteoric rise. Like we basically went from the underground, nobody, first album
to pop stars.
To pop stars. Yeah, yep. In a lot of ways.
I want to ask you about one thing. It was really a coincidence that you were wearing this Polish hockey shirt in Who's the King video, because for our generation it was huge and it was unbelievable, and after all these years I read, I chose it just by coincidence. I didn't think about it.
The truth is,
I
was in a hockey shop in Germany, just walking around like I do every day outside the club, trying to get the legs moving, get the brain back in order. And I walked into a hockey shop. I'm a hockey fanatic. I'm a player, coach, blah blah blah. So I'm looking through some used jerseys, and I saw this beautiful Adidas 3-stripe. I never saw a 3-stripe on a hockey jersey before, and it's red with Polska and the bird. I'm like, fuck, that's bad. Like, and whatever. It also was cheap because it was old, used. So instead of like $50, it was like 20 or something. So I'm like, yeah, cool, $20, here you go. And when it came time to shoot the video for Who's the King, I know that we're going to, that we have like 3 different locations, so you need different clothes and everything. And I was like, yeah, this jersey's like, it's fat. Like nobody in America has this fucking jersey. You know what I mean? Like that's like
100%.
That's like New York hip hop. That's the New York in me, right? Like, hey, your hat gotta match your sneakers, or your t-shirt. So I was like, hey, this drip, nobody has this drip. This is some special shit. And just that little choice, that one fashion choice to shoot in the video. And by then we already made like 2-3 videos or something. So I knew what the director likes. He wants something bold with color. We were at the Brooklyn Banks and in Chinatown. So, I wanted to pop, and it popped. And then the kids, the music fans in Poland started seeing the video, and they're like, is this guy from Poland?
Yeah.
Is his family from Poland? He's one of us, like people, like I would come to Poland, people were like, oh, so John, you are from Poland, right? I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm Irish American, but I love Poland, and they take me in as their own. But no, that it wasn't premeditated. I didn't want to, start a sensation in Poland, but it ended up being a consequence of a fashion choice, basically.
Do you remember your first visit in Poland in 1994 in Spodek on Odjazdy Festival?
Mm-hmm.
How much the Poland and the whole Europe changed through these 30 years? What's your opinion? Short opinion.
A lot, yeah. Like Poland is a country that went through a lot of change. I remember like Walensa. Mm-hmm. In that period in history.
You, in your hockey Polish shirt, you were bigger than Walensa.
Not bigger.
You still have this hockey shirt.
I know. I saw it on Krakow.
Hey,
in Krakow, sorry.
The Pope John Paul.
Yeah.
This was like, the Polish people showed the world something. That they're strong and they're willing to fight. And coming from Ireland and my family's background, my family and my people, they want a united Ireland. They fought for their independence and they fought to maintain it. So I feel a lot of kinship, and I see, like you said, a lot of changes in Europe, but Poland's a country that changed a lot, and even up to now, what's going on in the Ukraine, the Polish people make me proud. When the Syrian refugees needed a place to go, they could go to Poland. When the Ukrainian people needed help, your neighbor, you took him in. I know not everything's perfect. I don't understand everything about politics and why, but all I know is when I see people hurting and they need help, you guys help them.
Beautiful words, beautiful words. John, I think the music, above all the things, it's a time machine.
Yeah.
It's like DeLorean. And I know, I'm 100% sure that today I'm gonna back to 1995, 1996. I'm gonna be this pissed off teenager. And it's gonna be insane. Thank you very much for this conversation.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Nice
Thank you.
questions, and I could tell you definitely know about the band and
A little bit. I only got all your records.
you didn't hear about it, you didn't read about it, you lived it.
Yeah, I
So,
lived it.
yeah.
I was. You can say I was kind of witness of this all things.
Amen.
It's all connected with my teenage years.
Yeah.
And beautiful people like Plash here.
Thank you, brother.
And I
We
need
have a
to.
lot in common,
Probably
we have more
yes.
in common than we have that separates us, and that's why I hate politics. I get mad at politicians because they work better when we're fighting each other.
Yes.
So if we can just understand
When we are divided into groups.
Oh yeah, it's easy to control small
Exactly.
groups. It's not easy to control a united.
You don't have money
World.
because the other
Yeah.
group took it.
Right, yeah.
Fight with them, not with me.
Yeah.
I am the good king. Fight these guys.
I'm the good king, right? They're the bad guys are over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Go and kill them. And took your money from them. But yeah, I know.
Yeah. So this is why I love to travel the world, because then you're not afraid of Russia. You're not afraid of Poland or the Balkans or something. You have a more understanding when you see people have trouble or have success, and you want to celebrate that with them. So the world is small. When you travel it, and you can go to a new country every day or new city every day, you see how together we really all are. And I love what you said about music being like a time machine.
Yeah, DeLorean from Back to the Future.
I think music has like a special force, a special vibration in the universe. It can bring people together that don't know each other in seconds. It can bring you back to a memory or a smell or a moment in your life just by hearing a song, and it's incredible.
Incredible.
Everybody in the band, I think why we get along and why we operate successfully is we have the same mindset, like, hey, music is special, we're lucky, privilege to be able to play music and for people to react the way they do, and that the way that they take care of this band. So we have to take this task seriously, you know, and really give it our best effort. And that's what we did with the album, and that's what we do every night on stage. We're not here to fuck around.
I know exactly. Once again, thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure
My
from me.
pleasure, man.